Councilman number 3, Cinnamon! Number 13, Carson Medina on the case. Sophomore number 13, Jesse Payne. First and 10 winners. That's the number 10, Denzel Woodward. 15 ball winners. Number 1, Ace Long. Second down. Number 13, Jesse Medina, touchdown winners. Special thanks to second quarter sponsors, Chief Woodward, Handcrafted Soul Cook, Flame Grill, Flavors Cook They Do, Flavors Who They Are. Also, Bronchos Property Group, full service commercial real estate. We're passionate about finding the perfect property. BronchosPropertyGroup.com. ball at 33-yard line. First and 10. Bronchos! We have a silver Kia. That's a silver Kia. That car needs to be moved. License plate KNS 124. A silver Kia. License plate KNS 124. You need to move your vehicle or it may get moved for you. Number 16, right here, also on the field. We also have a black Infinity. License plate MFU 129. Black Infinity, license plate MFU 129. That vehicle needs to be moved, please. pass interference, white, half distance push. Somebody needs to do this. Ball spotted at 11-yard line. First and 10. Bronchos! Pass incomplete. Touchdown. Lacey Reynolds. We need you to move your Kia. We need you to move your car. You're blocking the driveway. Thank you. Timeout, Bronchos. Bronchos timeout. We have another vehicle that needs to be moved. It's a block like to take this opportunity to recognize another reunion this evening. Class of 2003, having their 20th reunion. Class of 2003, please stand. Let us recognize your presence. Class of 2003 are located in the north end zone. They're having a party. Everybody's invited. Halftime, go on up. Get yourself something at the hook pit in the middle of the north end zone. They're going to play the offside 15 re-kick. It's the Bronchos. Ball spotted 20-yard line. First and 10 Boomers. Number 10, Woodward. First and 10 Bethany. The penalty comes to a 15-yard penalty, 6%. They'll spot the ball on the 17-yard line. Still first down. They got flag. Oh my God! They got talked out of it. They got more money. They got talked out of it. Ball started 35-yard line. Second down. Come on, Sigler. Henry against the Boomers. Got a hold on White as he comes down. Oh, 31 yard line.
Boomer football here on Z92 at the half. It's Bethany on top 26-14. They hit a 25-yard field goal from Ruslan Calderon to there at the end of the half to get that lead. Dakota, this first half, looking at recapping, Bethany kind of set the tone early, went 13 plays, 86 yards on their first drive, was able to get the score on a 20-yard or a 1-yard run as they got all the way down to the goal line there, and that was from Braxton Mullins. The Boomers would answer back, though. Got a couple of big plays, 51-yard catch from Ace Long in the middle of the drive. Finished off with a beautiful connection from Ryan Douglas-Fisher to Carson Medina from 19 yards out. That made it 7-6 as Bethany went for 2 on their first score, did not get it. That was with 4:22 to go in the first quarter. After that, Bethany answered back right again with a quick 7-play, 65-yard drive. That was a Brock Cross 10-yard touchdown, although screen pass made it 13-7. Boomers on their next drive started deep in their own territory, and unfortunately, it was an interception. Brock Cross got it, set up Bethany with great field position at the Boomer 13. They quickly answered 9-yard touchdown run from Landry Locklear, made it 20-7. That was with 11:50 to go in the half. The Boomers, though, did a great job to be able to stop Bethany, slow them down, and get back into this one a little bit as Boomers had to punt on the next drive, but force a Bethany punt on their next drive. Woodward would then answer there with a 5-play, 33-yard drive after a bad punt by Bethany. It was again a touchdown. Ryan Douglas-Fisher to Carson Medina, this time 2 yards out. That made it 20-14. Bethany, the next 2 drives for them, would kick field goals. It was trying to see where that one was. It was a 54-yard field goal. I believe that was, goodness, hold on, 29-yard field goal. That's what it was. There we go, 29-yard field goal from Ruslan Calderon to make it 23-14. The Boomers had a long drive going, had a 12-play drive to cut off play 13, an interception, unfortunately, in the red zone, and it took away a chance. Bethany quickly went down the field, 10 plays, and wound up kicking a 25-yard field goal, as mentioned, as time expired there in the half to get to this 26-14 lead. But goodness to go, this is markedly a much improved performance from the Boomers on both sides of the ball.
Tyler, that interception that happened early on, man, that really kind of gave Woodward a hit and miss there to try to tie things up without the field goal, with that late touchdown or late field goal there by the Broncos. So if the Boomers can come out of the half and score with their first possession, maybe we can see something.
They will get that ball, of course, to start. Okay. We're working some things out here on Boomer TV at the half. Chris Godwin has been working hard this first half to try to get our audio right. But, yeah, Dakota, you mentioned getting the ball to start the second half. Sun's going down. You've been able to move the ball. It's been through the air. We talked about there a little bit before the half. I know he threw 2 picks in the first half, but Ryan Douglas-Fisher, at least in terms of his command of the offense, has been seemingly a lot better in this ball game compared to last week. Things you could tell were really out of sync against Guthrie. Of course, you stack that on top, then having an elite front pass rush and run defense seems like a lot easier sledding. And you mentioned his name a lot. Having Carson Medina back has been a big difference here for the Boomers as far as the receiving core to cover. Okay. All right. We had to catch his breath a second there. There's something going on, so we'll let it be. Anyways, 26-14 here at the half. The Boomers trail. We'll get the ball back to start the second half with that first half recap. Let's step aside, take a break, and come back for more. Look at the scores maybe from around the Tri-State and in the district as well. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
favor, stop by the one stationary and one checking the road. 21-21-21-5-9-2-4-6-74. Serving Northwestern Columbus since 1939. Transition from being to the civilian employer. I lost my purpose. I lost the drive that I had. That is a very dark and lonely place to be. It took me surrendering to myself to get the help that I needed. When my very first Woodward project event, I didn't really desire it. It told me you need to have the courage to forgive yourself for the first was. I got a tattoo on my hand. One night, my depression kept telling me, you're careless. And just before I was about to pull the trigger, I looked down.
The 12 in the third quarter. See if there's any C score. Maybe Winoka. They might have been off here. Let's see before we could jump up into some maybe Class A. Yep, looks like that was about it for your 8-man scores there. We're all in Class A. Got a couple of interests here. Fairview having kind of a slow game with Alva right now. Last year, this was a big blowout for Fairview on their way to an undefeated season. They only lead 20-14 in the third quarter right now. They're at Ranger Field in Alva.
Maybe Cash Shipley is making some catches out there.
Maybe making some punts as well. There goes that one, didn't there? Hooker, they are all over Watonga right now. Homecoming in Hooker, they were up 55-0 over Watonga.
Wow.
On last update, Moreland trying to get on the right track. Unfortunately, Pawnee all over them in the third quarter, 56-8 at the moment. Tennessee trailing Hinton 13-7. A couple other Class A scores here before we move on. I think that is about the Brunswick Del City. They're over Cordell right now, 13-0 at the half. Looking at some of the district scores now. Some really interesting games going on there. Clinton is taking on Heritage Hall. That is tied 28 all at the break.
You know, Heritage Hall was up 28-7.
Whoa.
21 unanswered by Clinton.
So Clinton firing back. Newcastle, that's the Boomers' opponent next week there at Boomer Stadium. They lead Plainview 28-7 in the second quarter right now. Oak City taking on one of the Texas Panhandle powerhouses in Canadian 382 in Texas, coming off a big win over Bushland. The week before, they actually lead Oak City right now 31-12 in the second quarter. They're That one, I believe, is in Canadian. Rutherford, they trail Reno 12-7 at the break currently. So if we've got any other for you here as far as the district goes, I believe John Marshall may be off as well as Cash, as it looks like they're not quite in a game at the moment. Go to 682 here a little bit, checking on Stillwater, some of those other matchups going on as well. Blue Stillwater actually, nope, yep, they are actually, Stillwater's trailing Yukon 20-13 at the half. It looks like that'd be kind of a big upset there if it holds. 681 checking on Edith. They are actually, I believe, off this week. So there you go. A bit of a wrap up of your scores around the state, as well as what we're seeing in the tri-state. Of course, Southwest Kansas got some games going right on meet, taking on Hodgman County. That's a good 8-man battle there in Southwest Kansas. A couple others, Ashland, trying to continue their role as well in 6-man. And again, you can tune in to K101 for Friday and quick scores currently in the middle of that broadcast. Got about 9:36 to go before we get the second half underway. So let's step aside for another break, come back and talk about some keys to the second half of the Brewers trying to spoil the Bethany homecoming here tonight. You're listening to Brewer Football on Z92.
Every day.
Pregame, if you're listening, if Coach Gordon basically said, hey, he told the guys they scheduled that for a reason, to find a way to take care of business and trying to do their best right now. Still, turnovers, a little bit of an issue, 2 key picks thrown, just a couple of passes where Douglas Fisher is maybe looking a little deeper and winds up, underthrowing a touch, and, good reads from Bethany. Running game-wise, it's been better. Still hasn't seen much explosion out of that other than Ryan Douglas Fisher on that good fake, having that 28-yard gain we saw on one of the drives.
And then that 51-yard pass to Ace Long.
Well, touching on the run game specifically, what do the Boomers need to do to continue to try to find some more space there? Because 4 yards isn't bad, but you really want to start hitting that for 6-7 yards if you can with Ace.
And like you said, you got to find that space. I don't know if it's creating different gaps, trying different angles, maybe hand the ball to someone else. But like you said, Tyler, you can't go 4 yards every play. You got to open up some gaps, get some longer ones in there.
Definitely. So, like you were talking about, pass game, but a little exciting for sure. He saw that 51-yard catch. Medina with 2 receiving touchdowns in the first half. They're doing it both in the short, intermediate routes. They've had a couple of swing routes that Bethany likes to use and use them against them. Had some hits over the intermediate, the middle of the field. That was the ace long catch. And we've been able to take a couple of deep strikes. Had that one called back, unfortunately, that Medina had, but he was able to get it back later down those sidelines, those one-on-one matchups. How do the Boomers keep that momentum going? Is it Ryan Douglas Fisher continuing to try to be smart, maybe limiting those turnovers? Because it seems like right now it's pretty much the difference, those 2 picks.
You got to take a look at last week where you were and where you're at this week. You scored some points. It's a lot of closer game. It's only, a 12-point game. So you get the ball out of the half, you score, you get a defensive stop, you turn them over, you go back, and you score again. And I don't know, Tyler.
No, defensively, we talked about that for the Boomers. Did force 1 3-and-out there for the Bethany side, but that was the only one. Other than that, they have held them to 2 field goals, went back up into the red zone. What the Boomers got to do to get the Broncos off the field maybe a little sooner here in the second half, because Bethany, to their credit, has really been able to stay ahead of the chains a lot of times on their drives.
Tyler, that's a good question. I'm not going to lie. Defensive backs got to get out there and they got to lead their men. We saw Mason Bourne, Colin Bourne, and Zane Weibel have 3 interceptions last week.
A combined 3. Yep.
They've been a little quiet in the first half. Let's see if we can get them woke up in the second half.
When we touch on Zane, that is that linebacking group that we feel like is going to be pretty important this week as a key to trying to stop Bethany. And it's a tough assignment for guys like Mason Bourne and Zane Weibel, that group, to not only watch that run up the gut, but then try to get out to the outside like you're talking about and get to those receivers. The dangerous part of that, you mentioned maybe making an adjustment, having the DB stick down low, is if you do that, Bethany might start trying to take some deep shots more than what we saw in that first half, and that could get really tough to stop. But, it's their offense is definitely explosive. You mentioned put 51 against John Marshall last week. Got held to 14 by a good Jones squad, but I think Dakota overall, it's going to be a Bethany team that definitely puts up yards over the course of the season.
Couldn't agree more.
So 3:04 to go here in the halftime show. Looks like both teams getting ready to come back out. So, I think that's Bethany walking out of the locker room. Woodward will follow soon. Do want to thank, of course, our great sponsors here at the half. High Plains Tire Gold sponsor of the Coaches Show with this Top Cat footwear and accessories, Divine Stationery and Radio Shack, Klein Mechanical, Northwest Glass, Great Plains National Bank, Long Shot Spawn Grill, who is our Coaches Show host, and Bank 7. Could not do it without them. And of course, hey, gosh, again, if you've been trying to watch a Boomer TV, I promise you, Chris Godwin has been doing as much as he can to make sure I was rolling the best he can. It's just one of those situations that he's trying to work through. We try to work through with him. So shout out to Boomer TV crew for coming with us as they do and doing a fantastic job. And they will mention, of course, next week, going to be back at home with the Boomers, as it'll be Newcastle, the Racers, coming into town. Another top flight team, this time in 4A. They defeated Weatherford in I think that was week 1, 34-14. Really shut down that attack. And they've got some guys. I mean, we saw them last year, Dakota, in Newcastle. Had some young dudes that were able to get out to the edge.
Big guys.
And get some big guys up front. And, of course, we'll discuss more on the specifics of that team as we get into the week, coaches show, things of that nature. But, man, this is going to be another tall test for the Boomers in the non-district.
Big guys, and it's a big game. What are they ranked? I think 8th?
I think higher than that. I think they're up to the top 5 now after that early win over Oak City first week. So, and they've earned that. I mean, they've got tons of talent on that squad. So we'll have to see how that one goes. As again, non-district, so no chance for the Boomers to kind of see a top-tier opponent and get ready for that district schedule. As Bethany is onto the field, Boomers onto the field as well. Got about a minute left in the warm-ups here. Dakota, we're talking about a lot of keys to the second half. Is there any final key you got forward to try to pull off this homecoming upset, if you will?
Keep that passing game going. You've had a lot of luck and a lot of opportunities out there. the big 51-yard pass to A-Song, and then Carson Medina has been lighting up the field all night with catches. So just keep that going.
Yeah, maybe try to get some of those other guys involved. As it's nice to go to Medina on the one-on-one, but at some point Bethany's going to start devoting a little bit more coverage to that, I would imagine, because it has been so successful. So can a guy like Ben Cheap, can Denzel Woodward continue to fill space, right? Can you get some of those guys continue to be in space and get some of those yards? Boomers will receive to start the second half. As we got about 10 seconds before we get back to the sidelines here, so getting ready to pick it back up. Man, got to brag on this crowd again. This road crowd for the Boomers, pretty good. Not only that, having the Boomer band as well. Got a good atmosphere on that sideline for those guys. Dakota, we knew Bethany would bring a good crowd, obviously, with their homecoming, but to be able to not necessarily match that, but at least have some support for you guys back there on what is a good road trip. It's a good 2.5 hours down here, just about. So very much big shout out to that Boomer crowd showing out tonight.
Yeah, it means a lot to the guys out there just to know that the community's out there supporting them. Making that long drive, like you said, that 2 hour and 20-minute drive, and just means a lot to the guys out there. Definitely
does. That was something that Coach Gordon mentioned to us. I know he wrote a really lengthy Facebook post kind of thanking everybody for what was a fantastic crowd in the opener against Guthrie.
And then to do it on the road the next week is very impressive. Love to see it.
That's something we hope that it continues into district play, because that's when it really starts to matter. It's one of those games, not that these don't count, obviously, but getting into district play, that's where you're trying to fight to make the playoffs, so you just got to get some big wins there. So, and I think against teams like Cash, John Marshall, you're going to have some of those opportunities. And, we'll see if you can maybe get a team like Weatherford or Elk City or Clinton. Those are going to be some of the other ones you're going to have to try to upset and to try to work your way into the playoffs this year if you are the Boomers. Oh, now they just put back a minute 4 on the clock. I think we're getting back to the sidelines here, just about. Have to see on that one. Do I mention after Friday night quick scores, although we will not be there tonight on it. Tune in for the fifth quarter. Probably hear from a few people.
Including yourself?
Of course. Yeah, I'll call in. Get myself a good call in for this game. Good recap. Sean Kelly will kind of run over those scores again. Here's some highlights from the Friday Core Scores program. Probably talked to Dave Hunziker, talked to maybe Toby Rowland. I know I talked to Pete Lindo. As, speaking on the college side, to remind you, tomorrow, here on Z92, will be Oklahoma State on the road against Arizona State. That one a 9:30 kickoff. Pre-game coverage will start at 7:30 here on Z92. Dave Hunziker and his crew do a really interesting one for the Cowboys, see if they could come out with a tough road win for the Sooners. Going to host SMU on K101. As that one kicks off at 5 o'clock. Pre-game coverage gets underway at 3 with Toby Rowland and his crew. And that one is usually what they call the pay-per-view game for OU, put on ESPN Plus this year. So be interesting. Probably the toughest game OU's got in the non-conference. I would say the same for OSU as well, between them and Arizona State. So 2 tests for both teams. Both, of course, 1-0. OSU trying to settle a bit of a quarterback battle this week, as they've got all 3 playing: Gunnar Gutty, Garrett Rangel, and Alan Bowman.
And I'm excited for that OU game, Tyler. It's going to be good.
Should be interesting to see how they handle the ponies, if you will, as CJ calls them, Snoop. Come on, it's Southern Methodist University. So we're moving to the ACC next year.
Really?
Yeah, next year. Got the invite, accepted it. So it's a futures matchup of SEC versus ACC, technically, between OU and SMU there. And for the OSU game, technically a future conference game. So
I'm
that's
going to pay to watch this game.
Or you can listen to it for free on K101.
Well, that's what I plan on doing, as always. Toby Rowland.
So you don't have to pay money. Hunziker pretty good himself here. Definitely glad to hear from both those guys.
That's an opinion.
As we are back to the sidelines and ready to get it going for both teams. Both of them taking their final huddles here before we get the second half underway. Sky has gone dark on us. Sun is set. Got some gusts coming in. Things cooling down quite a lot out there. as we should get overnight lows down to about 62, 63 or so. And playing some Sweet Carolinas. We get everybody ready to go. Coach Gordon walking back to this sideline. I think was having a discussion with some officials just on something, nothing dangerous at all. As we should see Ace Long, Ben Cheap back to return as they've been tonight. We'll see if Colorado plays it long or short. He's tend to play it more long tonight rather than short. Dakota really only did it one time, and Woodward was ready for it. Seemed to just challenge him more, trying to carry it right on that, at the goal line area.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's been very crafty as Colorado. Been a big league for Bethany tonight. He's added 6 points. Hit a couple field goals. Had not been for those, it'd be just 20-14.
Pretty lengthy, like you said. I mean, man, was he playing soccer out there?
he's dribbling a little bit, that's for sure. As Bears will go right to the left in front of us here. Oh, the officials still having a discussion.
Probably talking about who's going to cook breakfast.
I don't think that's what's going on. We're holding the teams on the sideline here. So, not quite sure. Maybe just trying to, take care of some things, make sure they got everything right.
I saw the managers out there earlier. Maybe they're getting a quick hydration.
And that might be part of it, too, is, we had these really hot temps last week. In the week 0 even, we saw some kickoffs pushed back due to the temps. This week, didn't see nearly as many. I know that Clinton Heritage Hall game was pushed back to 7:30, but I didn't see many others that were. So, maybe having a discussion about, like I said, making sure, hey, let's keep everybody hydrated in the second half. Because even though the sun's gone down, the temps are falling, this is where that fatigue maybe starts to set in. You don't want to risk anybody,
Get too hot.
Get overheated, that sort of thing. So, we're still having a good discussion here. The official's gone over to talk to Coach Gordon.
Maybe he has a couple questions.
Maybe so. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. Still waiting to get this one going. So we've got any quick score updates here real quick. Some of those games that were at the half when we went to the half. I have an update on those as far as the district contests go. And let's see here. Ooh, Rutherford trying to make it a game against El Reno. 18-15 in the third quarter now. El Reno still on top. Cash, as we mentioned, still down to Elgin, 55-0 there. A couple other ones. Newcastle being Plainview, 28-7 still at the half. Clinton Heritage Hall still at the half, 28-all. Anything else here? Looks like as far as 4A goes. I'm not sure what we're waiting on at this point, but we'll continue to check those scores, I guess. Still having that discussion at midfield here for the officials, so not sure what the issue is or is not.
12 minutes are on the board. And I'm kind of
I'm looking and making sure there's not any, sometimes maybe you have a score clock issue or something like that. I'm not seeing anything that would lead to that, so as we're waiting. Both these teams.
One thing they haven't done is put the timeouts back up on the board.
Yeah. Checking in on that class.
All right, here we go, Tyler.
Here we go, finally.
As soon as you...
Third quarter, by the way, Laverne Sealing still leading. That's 30-22 now over Laverne. So that one's still go back and forth again. Kate Kinney Wilder on K101 with that one. Updates. Okay. We're ready to go. As mentioned, Bethany will kick off. Two of the Boomers. Boomers going to be going right to left in front of us here. The back deep is going to be Ace Long on the far side, far hash. And Ben Cheap going to be on the near side. Excuse me. Yep. And everybody's standing about the 5, and you can hear the crowd. There's the whistle. Whistling Calderon set to go for Bethany. He takes his jog, and he's going to boot this one deep. And it's going to be Karen. Looks like maybe returnable. Going to be caught there by Cheap at the 5. Going to take it up to the 10. Now trying to cut it out the outside to the 15, to the 20, and gets struck down. And about, looks like maybe the 22. So decent return. Give them a little bit more generous there at the 23, and that's where the Boomers will take over at the beginning of their drive. Here in the third quarter, trailing 26-14.
You call him QB1 now? Ryan Douglas Fisher?
We still got to see. Can't quite go there yet. I'll wait to hear from coach's mouth on that.
Well, he is back out on the field.
Hadn't seen any Cash Carter tonight.
He's on the sideline, though.
It'll be Douglas Fisher in the gun. 4 out to the near side as far as receivers go. 1 out to the far. It'll be Medina going to be that far side receiver. They're playing the one-on-one matchup. Ace Long going to take a spot in the slot as the nearest receiver to the line of scrimmage in the 4-man set. Douglas Fisher claps.
I like this look.
And now back to pass. Has an option short. He's got plenty of space to tuck it around. He will. Cuts up to the 25. Now a nice move to get to the 28, up to the 30 almost, and down to right there at the 30. Good decision. We're a little tussle here after the flag out. Watch out, boys. Don't need a penalty. No flags thrown. As it was getting chippy there for a minute. Everybody comes up with handshakes. Tell you what, Bobby Kurt is a guy that promotes good sportsmanship. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but at the same time, Tyler, you got to watch out. That man will flat out
pancake you. That's exactly what I was about to say. He does it with that kindness that's, a giant kindness, right? Where it's like
jolly green giant, type thing.
7-yard gain for Douglas Fisher on first down on the scramble. It would be 2nd and 3 at the 30. Fourth and here, went to the far. Douglas Fisher gets it, throws it quick to Ace Long out in the flat. He cuts it up, and now makes move to 35 to 40. He's got first down. 45, still dragging defenders. Finally gets knocked down near the 50, but not before a big first down. And it looks to be about a 18-yard gain for Ace Long. The Bethany crowd went to the hole, but I didn't see one there. So 1st and 10 from their own 48 for the Boomers. Trying to lead the scoring drive here to start the third quarter, bring this back within a touchdown. As Douglas Fisher being a gun, Ace Long to Sion, 3 to the far side, 1 to the near. The nearest is Medina. He'll take the snap. A little swing pass out now to Woodward. Woodward going to turn upfield, trips a little bit, but gets across the 50 into Bethany territory. Gain of 3 there on first, makes it 2nd and 7. So gets chopped down at the Bethany 49, and now we got a
injured player here.
Injury timeout. Hopefully it's not Denzel. Since he got kind of hit down awkward. Can't see, and we do have that injury timeout. Everybody taking the knee, so we'll take this timeout with them. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
Choices are local. Choices.
It'll be 2nd and 7 now for the Boomers from the Bethany 49. 3 receivers to the near side, or 4, 1 to the far. Douglas Fisher in the backfield by himself. He'll take the snap, looking the pass, going to step up, going to look to run. Has a man coming from behind him, but does get up near the first down marker. And I think he just got across at the first down marker. He does, yes, at the 42. So give it a 7-yard gain, and it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Boomers. And Dakota for Ryan Douglas Fisher, looks like the adjustment was, hey, if there's nothing there, don't be afraid to use those feet. And he's doing that on his first drive to start the second half.
You're right, and Denzel Wickwer, comes back out on the field for Cooper Latop.
So maybe just cramped up a little bit on that last play, which is good to see. Didn't want to see him down in his first game back. 1st and 10 for the Boomers. Everybody in tight. Douglas Fisher in the backfield. Ace Long in a diamond set there, and they're just going to give it to him short right next to Douglas Fisher. He'll cut it back, gets to the 40, and gets up to the 39. So gain of a few, about a gain of 3. He'll be 2nd and 7. And again, trying to keep those sticks moving. You want to stay ahead of the sticks. 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Bethany.
Boomer starting to knock on the door.
You're driving. You're putting it together. You're already on play 6 upcoming.
It's looking good.
Last time, unfortunately, had to pick down the red zone. Going to try to avoid that this time. 2nd and 7. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Ace Long beside him on the short side. Medina here on the short side. Trips to the far side. Douglas Fisher, back to pass, fakes the handoff, rolls that far side. Going to try a floater pass, had a man, but it was a bit too short. I was trying to come back and dive for it. I believe it was Parkhurst it was. And you can't get it. It'll be incomplete, 3rd and 7.
Man, Luke Parkhurst was right there, but like you said, just a foot too short.
And for Douglas Fisher to carry, you want to see him maybe get a little bit more air under that one. It is a tight throw, but you gotta put it in there. 9:29 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Boomers driving, trying to keep it alive. Douglas Fisher will be on the gun. Quads to the near side, single to the far. Bethany Crowd getting into it. Douglas Fisher back to pass, under pressure immediately. Whistle, and the play is going to be blown dead. May have had a false start on the Boomers, and unfortunately that's going to be the call. And now another flag comes in, hopefully not another penalty on the Boomers, because that one came in after the play. So let's see what the call is here. Now we'll discuss. There was a late flag from the Boomers sideline. I don't know.
Kirby's saying that it's.
So maybe the Bethany player said something?
I don't know. Bobby Kurt pointed over there.
Yeah, and the official 2 point is pointing over there.
So maybe offset?
I don't know what the call is going to be here. Let's see. So false start on the offense. And maybe just a warning. Nope.
That's sportsmanlike conduct
on Bethany. So it was a false start on the Boomers, but unfortunately for Bethany, they give the Boomers the first down because of their
silly mistake.
Must have said what? Some magic words, maybe?
Probably so.
So it moves the Boomers up, it looks like, to the 29. And it will be that first down. So the Boomers have it 1st and 10 at the Bethany 29. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Quads to the near side. Single to the far side is Medina. Ace Long, the guy on the nearest to the line on the quads. Back to pass to Douglas Fisher. Sets QB draw. He's got space on that far side. Looking for a block. Gets one. Gets near the sticks. But to get it inside the 20 for the first down. It's going to be right at the first down marker. I think maybe a couple inches short there at the 20. Call it a 2nd and 1. And I like that design draw. It's about a little bit ahead of the 20. Call it 19 and a half, but not the first down. So 2nd and inches.
Give it to Ace for the quick first down.
That is an option. Haven't seen it a ton, but Ace, when he's got it up the gut, has been able to at least get a few yards for the most part.
At this point, I just think he needs some forward progress, Tyler. I think he'll have it.
I think you're right. And that's maybe what they're doing. Everybody stacked in tight. Ace going to be a little bit on the outside, so not directly behind Douglas Fisher. He's back to pass. Going to take a shot. They will. Trying to go for Ben Cheap and a bit too far there. As Cheap was a bit tied up with the defensive back. Yeah, I think that was clean. A little bit of hand fighting, right? But I think for the most part, clean pass. Just a touch too strong. So it'll be a 3rd and 1 for Woodward now here from the Bethany 20. You are in field goal range, but you much prefer a touchdown. A field goal would only bring you within 9.
No, I think you're right. I think they'll try to go for it. Even if they can't, they're leaving Bethany with not the best field position.
So Douglas Fisher in the gun, quads to the near, one to the far.
We're going to go with Carson Medina here.
Let's see what they do. Douglas Fisher going to try to take off himself. That time Bethany almost on it. Douglas Fisher lowers the shoulder, trying to get the first day to get it. Wow, they're going to say 4th down, I think. That was a quick and decisive call.
Wow.
It's going to be 4th and inches. Douglas Fisher got almost the yard, but didn't get the yard to get the first down.
You go under center here, Tyler, with the QB sneak?
I mean, I don't know how they... We'll see. 4th and inches. See if the Boomers go for it or not.
Literally just need forward progress, Tyler.
Here's the tough part about running a spread offense. You usually don't have a ton of under center stuff in your playbook. See if they do that or not. 10 seconds on the play clock. The Boomers got to get lined up. Down to 7. Douglas Fisher trying to get him hurried. Cross the near one to the far, 5 seconds. Douglas Fisher with 4, going to snap it. Now goes short to Ace. Ace catches it there. He's going to try to fill. He's got the first. Cuts back. Oh, that's going to be a holding call coming back, I think, unfortunately, for the Boomers. As Ace found the space, got down to the 10, but there was a flag right there as he made a cut, and I think, unfortunately, it is going to be in the air of holding.
Man, you hate that.
Now, the question is, did the holding occur when the first down already happened because it goes by the foul.
That's what the White House talking about right now.
I think you're right. That's what they're discussing.
Here comes the call. Holding.
So holding against the Boomers, and we'll see if it'll be fourth down or not still. Because it was right there near the line. Of course, the line was already at the inches. So
backing up.
Yeah, and they're keeping it forward. So it will be, unfortunately, 4th and 10, like you said. And that was crucial. Now, do you go for it? Do you take the field goal here? And there's a repeat of the 4th down. It looks like the Boomers maybe going to line up for go for it. They're still deciding. You got time on the play clock, but you got to decide somewhat quick. 8:07 to go here in the third quarter. And it looks like the Boomers going for it. Could take the field goal, but I think Coach Gordon and crew allows them. Probably not going to get much help if you try to take the field goal from it.
Tyler, they've done it once, but they haven't done it on 4th down.
Douglas Fisher in the gun. Everybody in tight, and is that going to be? Who's that going to be on? That's a fast start. Is it on the Boomers or is it on Bethany? And the Bethany is pointing towards Woodward, and it is on the Boomers. So now you go from 4th and 10 to 4th and 15. Costly penalty there. Because that will back you up now. It looks like to about the 35, and you got to get down to the 19 at least.
Rough.
So 8:07 to go in the third. Boomers trail 26-14. Trying to cap off this drive with the score. As it's going on play 13 here. And they're going to go for it again. As it'll be Ryan Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 to the far, 2 to the near. Ace long in the backfield with Douglas Fisher. He'll take the snap, and it's going to be the pooch punt. So can he drop it? It's going to be into the end zone, the touchback. So unfortunately, didn't quite get it. Understand the decision there. Ace, though, does have the foot. I know it would be a really long field goal, and will only cut you to 9. Kind of would have been interesting to see if Ace can make that one. So Bethany will take it back over out there on 20. After Boomers go 13 plays, but come up empty. Now, Boomer defense. You'll see their first foray into the second half here. See what they can do with it. As it'll be Jackie Payne in the gun. Locklear with him in the backfield. Trips to the far, 1 to the near. And now a flag. Too many men on the field, maybe?
1, 2, 3.
And it's too many.
For Woodward.
No, for Bethany.
Oh.
So they'll back it up. So miscommunication there from Bethany. Had too many guys on the field. And so they'll back it up 5 to start the drive. Dakota, that's more penalties on Bethany.
Kind of unheard of.
They're playing a little indisciplined.
But they have the lead, so.
It was true.
Unfazed.
1st and 15. Payne going to hand off to Locklear up the gut. Got a bit of a hole, but going to get drugged down. Got back to penalty yards and a little more as he gets to the 21. And we'll call it a 2nd and 9, gain of 6 for Locklear up the gut. And they gave him actually about gain of 7. They gave him 2 extra yards, or an extra yard, so 7-yard run for Locklear. 2nd and 8 from the 22. Payne in the gun again. 2 to the far, 1 to the near. Locklear in the backfield with him. Low snap, handled, giving the Locklear up the gut again. And he's got another hole across the 30. Still fighting, gets to the 35. And that is going to be a first down. And it's a game of 13 for Locklear up the gut. Because this is where for the Boomers, you got to stay in resilient. That fatigue starts setting in, and Bethany's going to try to pound you up the gut.
Yeah, Locklear, man, Tyler, that guy has jets. He just small, but so much power in him.
This will be a 1st and 10 from the 35. 7:10 to go. 7:05 to go. Jackie Payne in the gun. 2 to the far, 1 to the near. Again, a handoff inside to Locklear. This time coming up to try to lay a stick on him is Weibel. Along with a couple other Boomers still, though. Locklear gains 5. Actually, he gave him 6, so it's up to the 41. 2nd and 4 upcoming. And Bethany just saying with the statement here, hey, if we're going to be able to run it for 5 and 6 up the gut, we're going to do that the rest of the second half, it seems. Payne will be in the gun on 2nd and 4. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. An H-back in front of Payne. Quickly in the backfield, and again, hand it off to him. This time getting in there and blowing it up. Peyton Carter. For a loss of about, 2 there. Takes it to 3rd and 6. Third and 6 upcoming here with 6:05 to go in the third quarter. Boomers trying to force a punt. Payne will be in the gun. Walk over beside him. Oh, the Boomers jump Carter after making the great play on second down. Dakota. He's the one that jumps on third down. So unfortunate. So now it'll be 3rd and 1 for Bethany after the false start. So make it from 3rd and a little bit tougher to 3rd and really short here. Payne in the gun. 2 to the far, 2 to the near. Snap, Payne off inside to Locklear. Ooh, gets plugged up, but spins forward. Great initial contact and drive by the Boomers, but Locklear kept the feet going and spun out of it. There's a couple of Boomers on him, and unfortunately, it'll be first down. I can't tell who that one is.
It's going to be number...
Looks like maybe Carter.
Yeah,
yep,
Vanilla
Carter.
Gorilla.
So it's first down up to the 48 for Locklear. Call that a gain of about 4. As Locklear just pounding inside right now. And again, Payne going to hand off to Melton this time as there's double running backs. He'll get across the 50 into Boomer territory at about the 48. And that'll be another gain of 4, set up at 2nd and 6, almost 2nd and 5.
On the tackle there was Colin Bourne.
Onto Bowen getting a carry now or two as they're trying to get Locklear a little rest here. Locklear's still out there, but it's a 2-back set. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Payne and the running backs in the gun. 5 minutes to go now here in the third quarter. Bethany trying to add on to their 26-14 lead. Now motion goes Locklear out of the backfield. Payne jumps up the pass, trying to find a man short. Oh, it's off of him, and almost a chance for the Boomers of being incomplete as it looked like. Trying to see if that's 22 out there. If it is, that would be Garrett Johnson, who had a chance at it. Kind of bounced off of him, surrounded by a couple of Boomers. Oh, that was maybe. That was a. And no one comes out, as you're mentioning. But incomplete pass. 3rd down now for the Bethany Broncos. From the Boomer 48. Now we've got a whistle and a official's timeout. They're going to discuss something here. As the sideline judge comes over, talks to the umpire. Not sure what they're going to talk about. As maybe trying to get the... have a discussion with Coach Gordon and Cruz. Maybe Coach Gordon and his staff kind of more out on the field. Maybe that's what Coach Arthurs wants to have a discussion with about. You know, in college you get a little bit more free reign on that. High school they're a little bit more strict. So I think that's maybe a discussion saying, hey, be careful as far as getting out on the field.
A little new culture to him.
Yeah, and they're trying to get him. Now we're talking with him. Hopefully this is not, don't want this lead to a flag. And they're still talking to his coaches over there. Not quite sure. Maybe a sideline warning type thing. Maybe have the guys too far up on the sideline too. That could be it. Anyways, 3rd and 6 upcoming here for Bethany from the Boomer 48. We Payne on the gun. 2 receivers to the far, 2 to the near. 1 in the backfield's going to be Locklear. And the Boomers come up with a stop and get it back. Snap goes to Payne. It's going to be a screen pass to the outside. Got a man caught. Also, though, Mason Bourne trying to wrap him up and stop him short. He does. And it's going to be 4th and 2. Big tackle by Mason Bourne in the open field on Braxton Mullins, who got only about 4.
And the Broncos going to send the punting unit out.
So great job in the open field by Mason. He had to make that tackle, Dakota, and did. Yeah, you're right. Punting unit looks like it's coming out as Calderon. Yep, he is the punter. Got to watch for the fade, maybe. You've talked about that.
I think we're going to see something here, Tyler.
Yeah, got to be careful as they do have a gunner here on the near side. The Boomers are kind of playing it that way, where they're trying to watch it. Calderon takes the snap, now jogs out, trying to look to run. Boomers got to get to him. He's still in the backfield. The Boomers going to get the stop, and it'll be a turnover on downs as they snuffed it out well. How about that one, Dakota?
How about it?
And the Boomers take over 1st and 10 at their own. Looks like 44. Nope, my bad, 46. 3:57 to go in the third quarter. And Woodward, big stop there. It was a 10-play drive for Bethany. 1 play, excuse me. It results in the turnover on downs on the fake.
Man,
take over at their own 4C. You called it, I gave you credit. You said, hey, gotta maybe see something here.
Took it himself and a rookie mistake for the defense.
That it was. So 1st and 10 for the Boogers. Douglas Fisher in the gun, 4 to the near, 1 to the far. Now Ason comes in the backfield on motion. Even 3 to the near. Douglas Fisher looks back to the sideline. 10 seconds on the play clock. Still has time. Getting signals from his coaches. Making a change down to 7 seconds. 5 on the play clock. 4. Gets a clap. Now we're going to get snapped. Fakes the handoff. Goes to Woodward in the flat here on the near side. Woodward turns it up to the 50-yard line and maybe gets to the 49. He does in the Bethany territory. So give it a gain of 5. And that's, because it's not one of those flashy plays, but that's what you got to do is stay ahead of the chains.
Boy, you got to do what you got to do.
3:35 to go here in the third quarter. As Boogers trying to get that score on the board, they've had some good drives, not resulting points. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Denzel Henry very far back. Long in the backfield with Douglas Fisher. He's rolling out, looking to pass, trying to find, look like Medina, but
doesn't even bother to try to make a grab there, as it was just well underthrown.
Yeah, as that's feet. That's the one thing, Dakota, it seems like Douglas Fisher has struggled with here tonight, is just on the run, trying to get some air on those passes.
It's either underthrown or just a take over.
Yep. So we'll bring up a 3rd and 5 now for the Boogers.
Kind of in desperate need of this one here, Tyler.
We do. We've had some good drives. Haven't been able to convert. Got to get one here. Douglas Fisher going to be the gun. Long with him in the backfield. 7 on the play clock. He's checking with his receivers. They're in tights. 3 to the near, 1 to the far. Snap with 3 seconds on the play clock. Douglas Fisher back pass looking. Scans. Finds somebody over the middle, but it's overthrown. Tried to hit Ben Cheap. It was a little bit behind him and too high. And now bring up a 4th down. Had it right at the stick, Dakota, where you wanted it. Just above misfire there from Douglas Fisher. Just as you said a second ago, either a little overthrown or a little under. Yeah. So we'll see if they go with the punt.
The effort there, but man, just a little bit miscommunication right there.
And so 4th and 5 will come in. And it looks like Ason is back to punt this one. So back to return. Looks like maybe Brock Cross for Bethany.
Sprinting onto the field is Emery.
Yeah, I got to have everybody set, so that's going to back this up. False start is what they'll say. So start punting on 4th and 5. It'll be 4th and 10. As you said, had some late communication trying to get guys on the field, off the field. As Woodward was on a little late.
Bethany's going to go with a whole different group out there.
Yeah, they are probably maybe more of a punt block type of look, knowing they will extra yards to work with. As it'll be Cross now jumping back with him to Strotter, so 2 returners for Bethany.
Trying to throw some blockers in there just in case they have a shot at a return.
As now Long gets the snap. Going to kick it, this one, and throws off to the near side here on the Bethany sideline. Not the longest punt. Goes out of bounds at about the
35.
35, maybe. They're trying to spot it up. Not quite sure yet.
Cuts up to the 38.
Yeah, start getting the rough play by play. Looks like, yeah, you're right about the 38 there. So Bethany going to take over with decent field position after forcing the ball to punt. See if the Woodward defense could stand tall yet again. We're 3:04 to go here in the third quarter. And Dakota, that Boomer defense last time did give up a couple yards, but started to find the groove there, forcing some incompletions, stopping some of those runs. And now it looks like we got timeout, a little bit maybe of a water break, maybe a timeout, so we'll step aside with them. 26-14, Bethany on top. Boomers trying to claw back in at 3:04 to go in the third. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
French flavor raindrop. Grains of salt. And 100 times more potent than morphine. The tiniest amount of even fentanyl is all it takes to cause an overdose. Fentanyl can be mixed into heroin, cocaine, press pills, meth, and other drugs. It could be only drugs. You won't be able to see it, taste it, or smell it. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop overdose.
2:04 to go here in the third quarter. Had a little bit of a water break there. Players trying to stay hydrated. Bethany leads 26-14. They take over here first and 10 at their own 38 after the Woodward punt. With Jackie Payne in the gun, 2 running backs flanking him, 2 receivers far side, 1 to the near. Payne gets the snap, and he'll hand off inside to Melden. Melden, when it comes back to the 40, now turns and spins, gets to the 45 before he's drugged down at the 46, I think, by Peyton Carter. So a 7-yard run there. We got a boomer down here. Unfortunately, it looks like about the 38. I was about to run a scrimmage. As Melvin got the 7. So an injury timeout. We'll keep it right here, though, as we just took a timeout ourselves while they tend to the injured boomer. Do want to thank our great sponsors, High Plains Tire, gold sponsor of the Boomer Coaches Show with us. Top Cat Footwear and Accessories, Divine Stationery, Radio Shack, Klein Mechanical, Northwest Class, Great Plains National Bank, and Long Shots Bar and Grill. Here's our Coaches Show host. Do want to mention as well, this is something that definitely, trying to be on each week this year is getting that Boomer Coaches Show uploaded to Z92online.com as a replay. So the first 2 weeks are up there right now. And
hey, go check out to what those kids had to say.
Yeah, shows in its entirety. Nothing left uncut there, so you get their full thoughts, if you will. Along with, we've had softball on the first 2 weeks. Coach Dauphin and her group off to a fantastic start in the season, trying to close down the stretch well, as they're currently sitting second in the district, taking on the Fairview tournament this week. So we'll kind of recap that Wednesday. Looks like, and this is
Coach Custer, Gary Custer,
cross-country
team. Might see Brenner Dathan Custer on there with them.
So their season just got underway and had some promising results. So that was I had sent a couple kids to state obviously last year with that. So.
And for the first time, I think, ever, she said that the boys finished first, I think, in their first meet, either in Weatherford or was in Alva. I can't remember which one of the two it was.
Of course, we'll talk to her more about that. And, exciting things. We talked to her last year, and the numbers sounded like they were really good in that program in terms of
She's
kids coming out.
Always looking for runners.
Absolutely. Of course, running, not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not. I mean, I just can't see the joy of running, Tyler. Some people can, not me.
Because we're still tending to the injured boomer here, unfortunately. We'll not identify. They're taking a good look at that one. Was at the line of scrimmage.
Nice cleats, though.
Does have some cool cleats. We're paused here. We're 2:49 to go in the third quarter. Bethany is going to have a second and about 4, it looks like. I think about 3, actually. When they get back to it. This 24-16 affair. Boomers trying to spoil the Bethany homecoming here it's at Southern Nazarene University football field. And they've got kind of the open end zone layout where you've got kind of hills on each side. So if you're behind the goalpost, kind of chill there on the bank in the grass.
Looks like Dad may be coming out onto the field.
Yeah. And so they're talking with him. Take a look at maybe some of these scores in the district ball we can too real quick from around the Tri-State. Do want to mention, of course, K101 right now. And the last little stretch of Friday night quick scores, week 2 presentation. And big happenings in Sealing. That was 1 versus 3 matchup, rematch last year's state title game. Sealing on top of Laverne right now, 46-28 in the fourth quarter on that one.
And 4A Weatherford is on top 22-18 over El Reno.
So they've come back nicely there. Last time we checked on
Heritage Hall and Clinton. Heritage Hall, looks like Clinton is up 40-35.
Yeah, that's a back and forth one there in the third quarter. Canadian taking on Oak City. That's Canadian Texas. 3-2 power there in the Texas Panhandle. They are all over Oak City right now, 45-12. As they've got a really fantastic squad. Woodward's playing next week. Newcastle currently leading Plainview 28-14. Looks like that one just underway in the third quarter. Trying to catch maybe some of those other 8-man scores real quick. As we mentioned, the Sealing Ver game, bounce back to that.
Elk City and Canadian on top. Oh.
I appreciate you looking though. I do. He's intense, folks.
I'm in the zone.
Shattuck over Canadian officially not Canadian. Shattuck over Cherokee officially 42-14. The score on that one. That's a final. Timberlake looks like they're going to take care of Waconis. They're up 42-12 in the fourth quarter. top-ranked Tipton Class C. They've beaten Central Marlowe 56-6. Sharon Mutual pulling away from Canton in the fourth quarter, 42-12. Sharon Mutual might wind up 3-0 on the season. Out of Fairview game, was a tight one on last update. What you got, Dakota?
34-21 Fairview in the fourth quarter.
So starting to wake up. They were only up 20-14 there earlier. Oklahoma Bible Academy leading the yellow and 8-man, 24-8 at the half. And I think just about that's all of interest for us. As far as the lower classifications go, up to 6A2. Stillwater was down on the last update. They have come back and tied UConn 34-all in that fourth quarter. So that's a heck of a contest, it looks like. 6A1 was ended. I think they were off on the week. They're off. What you got over there, Dakota? Kingfisher taking on
Chisholm.
Yeah, that's kind of a
interesting.
Chisholm leading 14-7. We know Kingfisher a little bit
in the fourth quarter.
More depleted, I guess you could say, this year, trying to pull back after graduating quite a bit of talent. Unfortunately, they're still tending to the injured Boomer here as everybody's down on a knee, taking a serious look at him about the 38. As we are paused with 2:49 to go in the third quarter, Bethany does lead 26-14. Yeah, they are bringing out that stretcher. So while they do that, let's go ahead and step aside for a bit of an extended break as they take care of that real quick for the injured Boomer. We're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. Both teams, of course, showing respect as far as being on the knee. And we're going over some of the scores. I mean, they go kind of, early season, tough to judge some of the district, knowing that they're taking on some big-time opponents. I think Elk City, despite the result tonight, going to be a really tough challenge.
I mean, yeah, they definitely are. That Canadian team is pretty tough.
They are stacked under Coach Andy Cavalier taking over for the legendary Chris Ketting. They will have a ceremony in October dedicating the field to Chris Ketting there at Wildcat Stadium. Weatherford's been kind of interesting. It's tough to judge them. We know obviously you got C.J. Nixon, but I don't know how much is around them. They've had some good opponents, right? But it seems like if you could slow down C.J., Rutherford really hasn't had much in the way of around him to pick up the slack, if you will.
I mean, that guy C.J. Nixon, Tyler, he's just something else. Seems like anything he plays sport-wise, he's pretty dominant.
He is. I mean, an outstanding basketball player, already 1,000-point scorer after a sophomore year. Has got a couple of D1 offers in basketball, but has 15 at least Power 5 offers right now. In football, has got offered by the best of the best. Georgia offered him
Just a
2
junior.
weeks ago, just a junior, ranked in the top 50 for the class of 2025.
Could really
nationally.
choose either sport he wanted to. I mean,
Yeah.
I know football is probably more favored just because of his size, but in basketball, I feel like he could go either way.
Well, to your point, I think he really wants to play basketball more, but the opportunity definitely, like I said, might be in football. It's just the size, the speed, the athleticism he has is going to be really
Just
tough to,
Everything about him.
yeah. Do another score update real quick on the fly here just a minute ago. 39 seconds left in the third quarter. Heritage Hall regains the lead, 33-yard touchdown, 2-point conversion. They lead 43-40 with a clean down. It looks like they have gotten the injured player loaded onto the stretcher. You can hear the claps from there. And a couple of seniors run over, a couple of guys check on him. Carson Medina, Ben Cheap, the rest of the team coming over to it now as well.
Cooper Latal, Peyton Carter. I mean,
Yeah, everybody coming over to check on their guy. Still have not identified the player, but that's okay. They're trying to make sure, tell the guys, hey, make sure you get some space, but just checking in with their guy there. So tough day for the Bears. Obviously, you had last year's Dakota Marco going through a tough injury. Good to see him recover and walk around like he does nowadays, but
Man, it seems like every year just something unfortunate happens.
it's been a little tough on that. So now the Bethany guys also kind of up and being around. So as they're backing off the team,
Good
they make sure there's
sportsmanship.
good EMS saying, hey guys, let's clear the way now as they're ready to load them out. So good to see them at least loaded up to where they take them out. So we'll maybe have a positive update on that coming the next coming days. Obviously, going to respect maybe some of that privacy right now. So as we still got about 2:50 on the clock here in the third quarter. Bethany will have it once we resume play. They'll have a 2nd and 3 from their own 45. They lead the Boomers 26-14. We'll see how the Boomer defense maybe tries the route. And is now getting the player off the field there. So Bethany faithful, showing their respect. Good sportsmanship, like I said, Dakota. Obviously, the little crowd making sure as well. So the players clearing the field, and we should have a resume to play here in just a few seconds. So as the Woodward team taking a knee, saying a prayer for their guy.
Bubba Hunter?
As it looks like, yep, that's who would be there. So 51, the identified player, Bubba Hunter. Thoughts prayers with him on that. And hopefully, like I said, have some good news to share on that going forward. So as both teams kind of getting a meeting after that, getting welcome back up there, if you will, after the tough situation. And they'll make sure, of course, the emergency services all clear on that before they get back going.
Don't know if you heard that, Tyler, but out of the huddle, 1, 2, 3, Bubba.
Yep. So trying to rally for the guys, and now kind of doing a little stretching. The officials let them kind of take a minute to stretch things back out after the long pause. They were paused for about, I want to say about 15 minutes there maybe or so. We'll see how long we sit there. We'll take one quick break again with them as they get stretched out and get back to play when we come back. You're listening to Blue Football on Z92. to go here in the third quarter, as both teams getting ready to get it rolling again after long pause to tend to injure Bubba Hunter, as got him taken care of, and of course the team will try to rally after that now, as the officials still meeting, they'll discuss a bit. But because we return our focus back to play, situation here where Bethany's going to have a 2nd and 3, threatening to get into Woodward territory again. Bulls have been able to kind of stop them the last couple of times, drive-wise at least. They didn't have that punt, and then had a turnover on downs. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, because it was a fake punt didn't work out.
Didn't work. Drive before that, to end the half, you held them to just a field goal. So you've been successful.
Just keep doing what you're doing. I know it's going to be hard coming out after such a long break, but hey, just keep doing what you're doing, be physical, and try to get another stop here.
Last year this was a 42-14 game. Bethany took it in style, kind of had late touchdowns by Woodward to make it a little closer. But 2 picks on the Boomer side of things. Some unfortunate penalties that drove me back. This could be right there tight. This is within a 2-touchdown game, and those picks were a little rough because it was one set Bethany up on a nearly goal-to-go situation immediately. The other was you were on a long drive inside the red zone before the half and turned it over there.
I think Bethany
turned that into a field goal.
I think Bethany was thinking Woodward wasn't going to be as much as they were coming into this one with a rebuilding year and everything under new coaching staff. So, man, I'm pretty proud of what the Boomers have done so far.
Yeah, and I know Coach Gordon is a coach. They lose this game, he's not going to be happy. But just to see the improvement from week 1 to week 2,
it's a step in the right direction.
Big time step in the right direction. All right, everybody back out on the field. It's going to be Jackie Payne in the gun for Bethany. 2nd and 3. We'll have 2 to the near, 1 to the far side. Man, the backfield is locked early. We've also got H-back. And the Boomers almost jumped. They do. Bobby Kirk, unfortunately, I think, clapping his hands. Snap count got him. And Payne Carter tells his man, hey, just keep it intact mentally. So unfortunately, that's going to give. They actually put on Bethany, so there's a back.
Way on the far side over there between, I think it was Cooper Lataw and who's that receiver over there? Is that 34?
That would be, if it is 34, it might be 84 as well.
Damian Aguilar?
Or Seth Greener if it's 84. Usually it's Greener out there.
It's probably Greener.
Yeah. So 2nd and 8 now instead for Bethany here. Payne will hand off inside to Locklear. Got maybe a little block. Bobby Kirk going to try to wrap it up. Now host Boomers come in. Locklear got to the 45-yard line, so big gain back essentially at penalty yards. And will set up a 3rd and 3.
And Bobby Kirk and Peyton Carter going to town.
Right they are. We mentioned Kirk kind of a friendly guy, but it seems like he'll turn on the mid streak once that ball snaps. So 3rd and 3 now. Payne in the gun. 2 to the near, 1 to the far again. Locklear in the backfield. Boomers trying to come up with the stop here on 3rd and short. Payne takes the snap. He's going to throw it out short. He's got a man. It's Bryson Miller. He's got space to the 50, the 45. He's got the first down now into Boomer territory for his drive down at the 42-yard line. And Bethany converts with a 13-yard gain there. Just that little quick pass, and Miller had space on the near side. So 1st and 10 out the Boomer 42 for Bethany, and that 40 to go in the 3rd. Payne again being the gun, 2 to the far, 1 to the near. As Locklear will be beside Payne on that far side flanking. Payne will take snap and a quick pass out in the flat. That time it's going to be Strider on it. He'll have some yards to gain there as he gets across the 40. Gets up to a 35 before he slid down. And so now that will bring up a 2nd and 3 for Bethany. Another 7 yards on the short pass. Boomers going to try to come up with a stop. Minute 1 to go. Yeah, Boomer TV got a great shot of the guys getting that prayer after Bubba Hunter was taken off there. 2nd and 3. Boomers trying to come up with a stop as Locklear got near the sticks, and I think he just got enough for a first down on the run. He does as he gets to the 31-yard line. So mark it about a gain of 4. So Jacob Locklear kind of moving the road here for Bethany in this third quarter. A lot of rushing yards. It's nothing flashy, but it's getting it done. Under a minute now to go in the quarter. Bethany going to have that 1st and 10. You have to be in the 31. Do you have to get a playoff here? Payne being gun. Trips to the far side. Locklear beside him, also on the far side, flanking him. Going to hand off to Locklear on the weak side this time. He gets across the 30 to the 25. Still trying to fight forward. The horse moves on. Not able to take him down there before he gets to, looks like maybe the 24 on some forward progress. Like that again at 7. And right now, Jacob Locklear just chugging along here for Bethany.
Nothing stopping him. I mean, besides his own players, it seems like just trying to push him.
And it looks like that will be the end of the quarter official as Bethany's going to let this clock run out. And so it'll be 26-14 as we head into the 4th. The Boomers going to try to find their way into this one and try to spoil that homecoming for Bethany. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
Just isn't the same as
with the stop here on Bethany is Bethany threatening now near the red zone. We're going to have a 2nd and about 4 from the Boomer 24 to get the first down. They will be in the Boomer red zone officially going on play 8 of this drive. It's been a lot of Jacob Locklear in that third quarter as he was just toting the ball up the gut a lot of times, getting 4 or 5, sometimes 6 yards, getting hard yards. It'll be Jackie Payne in the gun, 2 receivers to the near, 1 to the far, 2 backs in the backfield with Payne, Melton on the near side, Locklear on that far side flanking. We're about ready to start this 4th quarter. Officials making sure everybody's ready to go. And there's the whistles. We'll reach the action here. We're going to try to come up with the stop on 2nd short. Snap, handoff inside to Melvin. He's got a hole on that far side. Going to get to the 20. He's got the first down. They'll wrangle him down inside the 20 and about, looks like maybe the 18-yard line. And that's there a gain of 6. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Bethany inside the Boomer red zone.
Moving the chains again.
Melton's been the guy to kind of give relief to Locklear on some of these carries. He's been effective as well.
This may be the way that Bethany tries to shut out the Boomers with Locklear, Tyler, just letting him run wild.
They are definitely trying to burn that clock. 1st and 10 for Bethany in the red zone. In the gun is Payne, 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Locklear in the backfield, low snap. He gets it off to Locklear, though. He's got space up to the 5, going towards the end zone, and he is in. Jacob Locklear just like that from 18 yards out. We'll put it on the board for Bethany. And here, just 30 seconds into the 4th, they will extend their lead and now take it. Go ahead 32-14, trying to make it 33. 18-yard run by Jacob Locklear. As that drive officially goes 9 plays and 62 yards. As far as time off the clock, just 3:34, but obviously he had a long pause there early in the drive. As after the extra point, it's going to be Rushland Calderon. And the extra point up, and that one's going to be good. So it is 33-14. Bethany now on top of the Boomers. We're going to get another crack at it here, though. See if they could be as effective as they've been on that passing offense. Got to finish some of these drives over the field. That's kind of been the issue tonight.
Tyler, you're totally right.
As it will be, of course, Asalon been cheap back to return. Let's see what they can do with it. Calderon's been able to boot it deep.
Curious to see what's going on in the huddle over there with our return team. Can't see who the coach is, but really having a serious discussion over there.
Yeah, I'm probably saying, hey, if you want to get back in this one, you got to get some energy now. Obviously, he has a situation that's very deflating, very serious one. You got to find some energy now.
I think that maybe could be something to it with these guys, but like you said, you got to get the energy and you got to put some effort into this game and try to get things rolling.
That will be the goal. Let's see how they respond here. Colorado will be kicking it. And of course, long back to return, and it looks like maybe Denzel Woodward now back there with him instead of being cheap. Woodward on the near side, and on the far side. And there's a kick by Carlisle, short. It's going to be fair caught at, looks like about the 31 there by Cooper Latal, and so that's where the Bears will take over here to start the fourth quarter. And we'll see if Ryan Douglas Fishing offense has something in store. Passing game has been massively effective, although still a couple turnovers like we talked about. That's probably what you're going to see a lot of here in this drive. Officially 11:30 to go in the ball game. And it looks like it's going to be that trips to the far side, toots in the near. Douglas Fisher in the backfield by himself. Ace Long near him on the inside there.
Might see one go in motion, and we do. It's going to be Ace Long.
And he goes all the way to the other side. So 4 on the far side, one to near. Douglas Fisher looking to pass a near on a little swing pass. Has a man. It's caught up to the 35 before he's drove down. Looks like that's been cheap. A little space. Got up to, they'll say, the 37. So a good gain. 5 yards there, or 6 yards on first down. Sets up a second 4. Now we're just trying to go decently quick here. It's the drive where you don't have to rush Dakota, but you do kind of want to make sure you're get everything spread up a little bit more. 4 to the near side, 1 to the far, Douglas Fisher. And the gun by himself. First man is Ace Long. Back to pass to Douglas Fisher. Looking around now as he finds a little hole. Up to the 45. Cuts it out. Trying to get across. A good shoestring tackle there, though. On Bethany side of things from Cooper Johnson. Cuts down Ryan Douglas Fisher at the 46, I'll say. But it is enough for a Boomer first down.
Move the chains.
10-yard gain on the run.
I like to see what Douglas Fisher does with his feet. Last season we didn't get to see a whole lot of, but this season, he's starting to shine a little bit.
And it looks like Dakota, at least tonight, on some of these shorter passes, they said, hey, if it's not there, take advantage of the space. That's why they're spreading out. And Bethany, of course, not as aggressive in that front. Douglas Fisher again, 4 to the near again, 1 to the far. He'll take the snap, back to pass, rolls that near side, going to fire on short to Ben Cheap. Cheap's got it. It's going to be a short gain, gets up to the, let's say, the 49. So call it a gain of 3 there on first down. Just that little stick route, well covered by Bethany.
Yeah, good visual there by Douglas Fisher, finding that small pocket and using it to his advantage.
Using some of that space for sure. That is a tricky thing, though, too, to go, because, you got to get it out at some point. He did that well. So 2nd and 7, Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers on each side. He'll out to the far side, looking to pass this time. Now steps up in the pocket. Going to take off again. Makes a man miss at the 50 and trips his way up to the 45 as he got tripped up from behind.
It'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, as you mentioned. So a good 6-yard gain. And again, just a quick decisiveness by Douglas Fisher. Coaching staff, Coach Woodward and his crew, letting Douglas Fisher know when to use his legs. 3rd one here at the 45. Got to get to the 44 at least. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Packed in tight on the near side with 4 receivers. Out far is Medina. They're going for this swing to Ace Long. He's going to get tripped up in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of 1. They'll set up a 4th and 2. It's a good tackle from behind there by the man for Bethany would be, looks like maybe Hank Durst, a senior.
Boomers are going to elect to go for it here on 4th down and 2.
Yeah, you kind of got to at this point. You're in that territory.
Kind of where you're in the do-or-die situation.
I mean, they could technically do the pooch punt again, but I think you're right. They're in the do-or-die here with 8:55 to go in the game. Trailing 33-14. Now a whistle, and it looks like maybe a timeout taken. Who's it going to be taken by? Not sure who.
Timeout going to be taken by the...
I think it's by Coach Arthur of Bethany. See if that's the case. Didn't get an official timeout call. Because it just play was whistled dead there. Maybe Coach Arthur was saying he gets substitutions or something like that. Not quite sure what the deal was.
Something over there in the sideline.
Bit of a redo, but we're back to play. No timeout charge. Going to be 4th and 2 now. The Boomers. Okay, yep. Now the timeout officially. So I think that one was taken by Bethany. 8:45 to go. Crucial. 4th and 2 are coming here for the Boomers. Dakota. We talked about earlier with the spread option offense. One of the tough parts is that you don't have a lot of kind of short yards. Hey, we're going to pack it in tight and try to get those two. So what do you do if you're Coach Gordon? Do you try to get some in the flat, or make it work there? We've seen them try that with Ace Long, been successful. Do you go to something like that again?
Well, they've been in a formation where they have quads and they'll have a man in motion, and then they'll either hand it off or they'll go and they'll have trips to the far side, and they'll throw it and have blockers for whoever is gonna catch
so
it.
You're thinking maybe a jet sweep option, or just like we were talking about that little
just keep what you're doing. Put the quads in motion, and then have a man. I don't know, Tyler. It's hard. You're down by 3 scores.
Down by about 3 scores. That's right. As we get back to it here on the timeout, in the gun's going to be Ryan Douglas Fisher, beside him Ace Long. Trips to the near side, now Ace motions out, makes the quads on the near side, far side Carson Medina. Douglas Fisher back to pass, going to roll to the near side, going to float one. He's got Denzel Woodward can't hold on to it. It's incomplete. It's a turnover on down. That one just a touch behind Woodward. Dakota was there. He just couldn't hold on to it.
Man, bobbled it, and unfortunately couldn't keep up with it, like you said, Tyler, and turnover on downs.
So Bethany will take back over in their own territory
with 8:41 on the clock.
We're probably going to see a healthy dose here of Landry Locklear, as we've seen him all that third quarter. As Bethany will have it on their own 46 official. With the aforementioned 8:41 to go. Trying to seal this one out if they can't. As it'll be Jackie Payne in the gun. Have not seen Judson Gillen at all tonight. Payne will get snap hand off to Devonta Melton, who takes the carry. He spins out of the tackle but falls forward. Staying out before he gets about 8 yards and makes it a 2nd and 2. Gets into Boomer territory at the 46.
They had him wrapped up in the backfield there, but then he broke a tackle and broke free and had some more yards added to it.
So 2nd and 2, and Melton's a big boy. He was tough one to take down. Very stacked, about 215 pounds, despite about a 5'9" frame. He'll be in the backfield again with Payne. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. They fake the handoff. They go short on the screen pass. They've got Mullins. They'll have the first down across the 40 before he's chopped down by Cooper Latar with a good open field tackle. And officially, let's say up to the 39-yard line, so that's going to be a gain of 7.
Move the chains 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
Now into the Boomer territory after 39, trying to get back to the red zone. Boomer faithful still staying strong over there. Payne's going to be the gun. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Mullen in the backfield with him. Have not seen Locklear on this drive yet. 7:25 to go in the ball game. Payne taking his time. 5 on the play clock. Gets the snap off. Fakes the handoff. Trying to go short. And the swing pass out there to Mullins again. That's Garrett Johnson. He'll break free. Gets up to the 30 and the 25 before he's knocked out of bounds. And they just kind of lost him over there with the far side swing pass to go. That's a big first down for Bethany.
It looks like they were trying to run him out of bounds there, and then it looks like he's kind of stepped back inside and just kept on taking off.
Gets up to the 22, so call it game about 14. Gain of 17. So 1st and 10 for Bethany inside near the Boomer red zone at the 22. Melton still in the backfield with Payne. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Takes the snap, going to try to hand off to Melton, but instead going to go short to Johnson, and he's going to have to go to his knees for the catch. Mason Bourne comes in to make sure he was down by contact. And I think maybe he lost a few yards, back to the 25. So lost the 3.
Yeah, it looks like for the Broncos, Jackie Payne saying, Coach, that one was on me.
Yeah, a bit of a low throw made Johnson go to his knees. Clock's still running there, obviously. 6:40 to go now in this one. Bethany in no rush as they don't even get set to about 8 to go on the play clock. Payne's going to be the gun. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Melton still in the backfield. Got an H-back as well. They'll hand it off inside to Melton. His experience is space on the outside. Cuts it up, gets to the 20, cuts it back to the 15. He's fighting for it inside the 15, near the 10. And just made a couple quick cuts and got it going.
It took, 2 or 3 boomers to push him out of bounds?
Yeah, Big Man showing some of the footwork as he officially gets down to the 13-yard line there. From the 25, it's a 12-yard rushing gain, and it's going to be a 3rd and short now.
So much athleticism right there, Tyler.
Big Man move. So 3rd and 1 now from the 13 for Bethany, threatening to try to put this one out, reach for the Boomers. It's Payne will be the gun. Belton still with him. 2 to the far, 1 to the near. As far as receivers go, tight end as well on the far side. Payne takes the snap, laying off inside the Belton, trying to get that 1 yard. Boomers are going to be on him, but I think he might have got there. It's going to be tight. It's going to be right at the stick as he maybe got a yard. We'll see where they mark it. It'll be 4th and out. Looks like they're showing 4th and inches. Sure enough.
Wow.
Good job by the Boomers. Had a host of Boomers right there at the line of scrimmage on them.
No, I really thought that he might have got it, but oh no, they do. They're going to give it to him, Tyler.
Wow, so they do move the sticks. Originally said 4th down, but yeah, you're right. Give him the first.
I was going to say, I thought he got it by a hair, but...
Yeah, that's exactly what they called it. So 1st down at the 12 for Bethany. 6:07 to go in this one.
They bring in a couple of bigger guys and then a couple of receivers, like Calderon.
You're right, Calderon.
And Garrett Johnson out there on the field.
As well as Strotter coming back out, Alex Strotter. Weldon staying in at running back.
And Will
play clock was down to 1, I think. And so Bethany has to bring a timeout as the play clock was down to 1 here with 5:47 to go. Bethany does lead 33 to 14, threatening against the Boomers in the red zone. We'll step aside for a quick break, come back with more. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. This is a 14 game. They've got a 1st and 10 from the Boomer 12 upcoming. Been a, so far, 6-play drive for the Bronchos. And consistent yardage, nothing too fancy. One negative play. So he trips to the far side of the formation, nobody to the near. Melton's in the backfield with Payne. Flanking him on that far side. Payne will take the snap. Handoff inside, and this time the Boomers are on him. He's not going to get anywhere. Try to see who was first contact in there. Looked like Peyton Carter, and then Bowen Morton with him as well. So no gain. 4-0.
What'd you like to see Peyton Carter getting some more action?
Problem is here for the Boomers. Time starting to really work against you with just 5:20 to go. And of course, Bethany not even going to try to snap this until there's about 5 on the play clock at least. So you're going to take their time. So they're all in field goal range.
Time.
So 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Melton in the backfield flanking on the near side.
Think they go for a pass here, or think they're going to run it?
Might try to run it. Payne going to hand off inside to Melton. Melton trying to cut back. Boomer on him, wrapping him up, taking him down there. And again, no gain that time. Looks like it was maybe no boring.
That or...
Yep, no blown on him. And now we got an injured Bethany player near the goal line. That's his little sort of go. Not sure if it's a cramp. I mean, he's moving around just fine. Just kind of looks like maybe more of a cramp. So they've got an injury timeout. It's going to be 3rd and 10 for Bethany from the 12 as they work here with the injured Bethany player.
So we got Peyton Carter and Bobby Kirk down there kneeling next to him. Now they'll go join the huddle.
So 4:51 to go in this one. Bethany going to have third down. Let's see how aggressive they maybe try to be with it. They just play it a bit more safe, knowing that they've got a 3-score lead. Can make it 36-14 at that point. The Boomers would be down 3 scores and would have to get a 2-point conversion on one of their scores to tie it up if Ruslan Calderon is able to give them a field goal. It looks like they're working out the Bethany player, maybe just the cramps, because that was kind of rolling around there. So,
man, cramps. I had one earlier.
So we were talking about halftime. You mentioned talking about the hydration factor, and the officials were discussing. It looks like Jonathan Saldito, one of the offensive linemen, the junior, kind of working it out.
Seems like sometimes no matter how much water you drink, still find a cramp somewhere.
Man, especially with these temps. It's tough. We talked about that first couple of weeks. We've seen some pushback kickoffs due to the extreme heat. That actually cooling down a little bit next week and be, and it looks like to maybe the lower 80s, upper 70s for some of the highs. So that would be
not bad, not too shabby.
That would be very nice. As they do get the player up there, so Albedo going to get back to the sideline up under his own power. So that's good to see. We'll get back to play here in just a second. It'll be a 3rd and 10 for Bethany. 4:51 to go. They do lead the Boomers 33-14. They could make it 36 if they don't get this first, kick a field goal, or to see if they do try to be aggressive or not.
Yeah, Tyler, I think this Boomer defense could hold up here, like, for a field goal, if they keep doing what they're doing with Peyton Carter.
It's going to be Jackie Payne and John. Melton still with them, flanking him on the far side. Now, there's going to be an up back. Bethany on the far side. 2 receivers to the far, 1 to the near. There's a snap. Payne will roll out, looking to pass. Going to try to get to the back pylon. Maybe has a man. It's caught as a touchdown. It is. Touchdown for Bethany on 3rd and 10. Trying to see who that was. Was able to make the catch. Looked like that may have been Johnson for Bethany. Gary Johnson, the junior, able to come up with it on the back pylon. So Bethany going to extend their lead now. Going to try to make it 40-0, or not 40-14 here with 4:29 to go in the ball game. A 12-yard touchdown pass from Payne to Johnson. Bethany was missing man on their extra point team. It's a long snapper. Calderon will line up here. He's hit 2 field goals in the game. Some shorter ones, 25-29. Been clean on his extra point attempts. And that one's up, and it is good as well. So officially 40-14. Boomers will trail here in Bethany on their homecoming. Bethany goes 9 plays and it looks like 54 yards to extend that lead. Time the drive. Took a good chunk off the clock there as they nearly took they took over 4 minutes. About 4:11 it looks like on the time of the drive. And just put it away right now. They're trying to put away with that run game, Dakota.
Sure are. Between Locklear and Melton.
And that was pretty much all Melton on that drive. Didn't see Locklear, but Locklear had his time in the third quarter. So
sure did.
I was probably trying to keep him a little bit more rested.
Between those two guys, Tyler, I mean, they have just put a whole bunch of offense on the board tonight.
Consistent yards as well. So round up his fish to the offense, see what they can do. Do have 3 timeouts to work with, but you're going to have to really try to strike quick, strike far.
It's going to be hard, Tyler. A little deja vu from last year.
Yeah, so that kind of a similar situation. Poor Bethany was able to close it out, essentially. Let's see if Woodward gets back there with ace line to return. Looks like Ben Sheep back out there this time. Colorado will kick this one short. Oh, it's on. It's loose. They got to get it. Bethany's going to recover the onside. Cheap misplayed it. Let it bounce at about the 22, and the Bethany gunner was on it to recover. Bethany takes back over. Just an unfortunate circumstance. Cheap came up. Thought it was going to bounce out of bounds. I just stuck in the ground to cover.
Tyler, just unfortunate there. You think that the Boomers have a weird shot of it going out of bounds, but nope.
Just unfortunate, like I said.
You know, I kind of didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that was kind of, I think, Ben Cheap's thoughts as well.
With them up 40-14.
Well, it wasn't intended onside, but anyway.
No, it's kind of just worked out in the favor of the Broncos.
It did. So they will take it back over here, trying to close this one out. They will have it 1st and 10 at the Boomer 29. 4:29 to go. Be paying him again. I actually have some backups in there. Well, I don't find those in there. Got a handoff. Ran out to the near side to the 10. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage on the carry. Looks like it was Jackson Dole, the junior.
Sure
but a flag might be coming back here for Bethany. It would have been near a first down if not a first down.
The 6-foot junior, 175 pounds.
Yeah, about like Locklear.
Also plays on the defensive line.
It's kind of odd when you see that, right? The running back
well, you know, I looked at him and I said, man, that guy's pretty stout. And sure enough, he knows how to take it up the field.
Okay, looks like it is going to be the hold or push him back, so get it back to the line of scrimmage, or a little bit before the line of scrimmage.
Man, all that work for nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be about a 1st and 17 by the time you mark off the yardage.
Interesting to see what they're going to have Duel do.
The quarterback for him in now is going to be 32. That's Brody McLaurin, the freshman. 5'8" freshman. And he'll hand off again to Dole, and the Boomers are on that, fighting over it, losing a couple. As looked like that might have been, trying to get your numbers there. Levi Harrison on the tackle, as well as Peyton Carter.
Yeah, he was slow to get up just a little bit, Carter was.
Gotcha. He's taking a little bit of, he's been on their side tonight.
You know, he's kind of been all over the field making some big plays. Not surprised he's exhausted.
Definitely so. This will be 2nd and long here for Bethany from their own 33. Gotta get all the way to the 14, excuse me. For the first down.
3:40 and counting.
Play clock down to 3 for Bethany. 2-1. Will they get off? They do. Will be handoff inside to Dole. And again, the Boomers are all over. Peyton Carter taking them down. Another loss there in the backfield.
Man, Peyton Carter just reading every play.
Loss of 1 on that one. That Carter will come out. Take a break. After 2 tackles for loss. Back-to-back plays.
Subbing in for him is going to be Levi Harris.
Yeah, now they're working some of the younger guys in there. Bobby Kirk will come out as well. Good read.
Much needed.
Borden back in on the ends. So 3rd and very long here. 3rd and 22 for Bethany.
I think they'll go in the air this time.
And the guy will be McLaurin. He's going to take it himself. On the QB keeper, cover blockers, gets up to 30, now has the edge, goes to the 20, cuts it back to the 15. He's going to have the first down as he gets inside the 12, and that's a tough break. 3rd and 22. And the Boomers give up the first down as McLaurin just gets some blockers ahead of him.
Man.
And gets the first down.
Was he get 24 yards on that play right there, Tyler?
That's what it was. It is a first down.
Man. You thought the Boomers were going to have him around the 30-yard line or so, or somewhere around there.
Just slipped a tackle or two. It's 1st and 10 now at the 12 for Bethany. 2:20 to go here. I don't know if they'll try to score. They might.
I bet they would.
It'll be McLaurin again. Dole with him. There's 2 receivers to the near, 1 to the far. They're going to hand it off to Dole. He's got a little cut back. Cuts up to the 5. Now going to fight 4 down to the 2. So his drive down is going to be right near stick, and I think they're going to give him 1st and goal. So gain of 11 will call. Definitely going to look to tackle on one over here on ongoing act for them. What I mentioned, of course, the Boomers going to be back at home next week, taking on a very talented Newcastle Racer squad. Down in Plainview tonight, or at least on last update was down in Plainview. In the gun, going to be McLaurin, Dole with him. Now just going to be Neal, so Bethany going to play a little bit more sportsmanlike, not try to score, even though they potentially could try for it here. And it looks like they're just going to mill it out as there's a minute 30 on the clock. So I have to go off at least probably about 1-2 more snaps, maybe.
I don't think the Boomers would try to throw some timeouts out there.
No, I mean, you don't at this point also. And it's about 8 on the play clock. Bethany on it. Just going to take an knee here with 1 minute to go, so I have to snap it one more time after this. Bethany going to move to 2-1 on the season. The Boomers going to fall to 0-2. That being said, though, some things to talk about, of course, post-game going forward this week in terms of some of the more positives you saw there. Just Dakota is a couple turnovers, a couple of drives you just couldn't finish. This one could have been a different ballgame.
Not a bad showing for Ryan Douglas Fisher, right. From a bounce back. Did a really good job, not only finding his receivers downfield, but doing some work on the ground.
And there's the final nail down for Bethany, and with that is going to be the final. The Bronchos will take it against the Boomers here tonight at 70 Miles Ring University Field. 40-14 going to be the final. And we'll line up for the shaking of hands there in the center field. We'll go ahead and step aside for a break, come back with the post game, get you set up for what's ahead for us on the weekend and going forward, of course, with the Boomers. We're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
Every day, it's better. It's the little things that that's why we appreciate the mission every time. Designed for years like you, missions and renaissance and time to keep all the world. So we must see the world of the world strong tree. Stop in today for miles and compromise safety and performance. These are the local missions of high claims time. It's 2021 and Woodward. Just with the school that's already in place. That's often personalized anything from heads to heels, stretch to tickets, and much more. Is it the story that makes it a real show? We'll go over 50256-3579. Be sure of it today. People listening people, that's what they're all about. Great games back. Because life isn't a transaction, it's a journey. And we're in a journey. Great, once again, Great Games Bank is a conscience for you because they're here to serve you. Great Games Bank, we're after the city equals it's all about our kids to grow safe and healthy. So we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations, but we really know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. It's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, other ones, we need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription, and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And welcome back to Women's Football here on Z92. Dakota Rodney and Tyler with you. As we do have a final that the Bronchos take it over the Boomers 40-14 officially. And Dakota, just one of those games that second half, we were kind of similar to first, had a couple of chances on a couple of drives, just couldn't quite ever find that end zone after a couple of promising drives in the first half. Good things to take from that. Passing game was there, although still a couple picks, but for the most part, we're talking about how Ryan Douglas Fisher looked a lot more in control of the offense as far as the, run game goes. More space, still wanted to maybe find more for Coach Gordon and the squad. That's something they have to work on going into Newcastle. Defensively, it seemed like a touch too tall of a task to try to not only cover up the gut, but horizontally as well. Bethany's offense, definitely explosive, followed up what we saw on film from the John Marshall game, where you tried to take away one thing, they'll hurt you with the other.
I like how you break that down within the first. They were all kind of all over, keeping it close with Bethany, and in the second half, Tyler, I feel like they kind of just ran out of gas, got a little exhausted, and then Bethany was able to capitalize off of some of those interceptions as well and extend their lead. And then in the third quarter, Locklear, man, just kind of had himself a heyday.
Yeah, burned a lot of clock. And it's up the gut, because Woodward obviously was selling at that point to make sure you're not going to beat us on the edges, but they were just able to slash 4 or 5 yards at a pop. And it's not flashy, but it works and burns up that clock. That's essentially what Bethany did. And then the fourth quarter essentially repeated that, but with Devonta Belton instead of Locklear. So,
and then just a lot of kind of missed tackles there at the end, where you had your guys thought you had them pushed out towards the sideline out of bounds, and then they would just kind of little spin move inside and get some more yards up to the 10-yard line. It seems like when we had them on 4th and 20.
Yeah,
and then get out of that.
And that's something obviously can't have those missed tackles. Got to make them over the field. Definitely a marketed improvement from the loss against Guthrie. So it's more positive take. But now you turn back over, you come back home, and you host a very, very, very talented Newcastle team that's going to be tough to deal with. You want to talk about athletes? They have got them all over the field. Got some legit guys that are drawing D1 interest, Power 5 interest. So that'll be interesting to see maybe how they handle that compared to the Guthrie game, because Guthrie, maybe not guys on the D1 level, but had so much experience, so much athleticism. It was definitely shown there.
That's what it is the athleticism that they're going to bring is something that we're going to need to match early on and try to set the tone.
Definitely. So, well, do want to thank our great sponsors, of course, High Plains Tire, Gold Sponsor of the Woodward Coaches Show, Top Cap Thermal Wear Accessories, Divine Stationery, Klein Mechanical, Northwest Glass, Great Plains National Bank, Long Shots Bar and Grill, who is the Coaches Show host, and Bank 7. Cannot do it without them, and we very much encourage you to come on for us, of course, for that Newcastle game. We need that crowd support. It was great in the first game. Had a good road crowd here tonight. Also, of course, want to mention hopefully things are going well, or we'll get a positive update on Bubba Hunter. The injured boomer there in the play had to be carted off. We don't know the nature of the injury or anything like that. Not going to quite speculate. Just hope, obviously, everything turns out there. So we'll try to keep updated on that. And as we are past 10 o'clock, the Friday Night Quick Scores coverage on Game K101 has ended. But right now, Sean Kelly, along with others, leading the 5th quarter until midnight, so you can definitely tune into that, kind of catch up what's been going on in the Tri-State. Had a lot of great games out there tonight in the area, so interested to see some of those results as we get back. Also want to mention, of course, on the college football side tomorrow, here on Z92, Oklahoma State will go on the road to take on Arizona State. Now on a late kickoff, 9:30 there in Tempe, so pregame coverage will start at 7:30 here on Z92. Over on K101, it's OU, SMU, in Norman. OU will kick that one off at 5 o'clock. You can join Toby Rowan and crew with coverage starting at 3. Of course, Dave Hunsaker and his crew here on Z92. Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys get their NFL season underway. Sunday night game, that will be broadcast here on Z92, I believe, taking on the New York Giants. We'll have those Cowboys games all season long here on Z92. Other than that, Dakota will have some softball next week to cover.
And the Coaches Show.
And the Coaches Show on Wednesday, so definitely stick around for that. I believe a district contest against Bethany, actually, once that one's at home. So
we got something for you guys on Wednesday, Thursday, and, of course, Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So I want to thank, of course, everybody back at the studio, Sean Kelly, CJ Montgomery, the entire Friday Night Quick Scores crew, Kate Kinney, Sean Miller, Kathy Reese, and, of course, Dakota. That's all tonight. Appreciate you. And executive producer Brooke Williams, couldn't do it without her as well. And then the man back on the board tonight, for us at least, Rance Bay, doing a heck of a job as always. I say as always, he just started. He's doing well.
We couldn't do without him, though.
Couldn't. So very much appreciate Rance. And, of course, Boomer TV making the trip with us as Chris Cotton tonight. Max, didn't get the last name. That's my bad. Bell. Okay, so we got a Bay and a Bell. Okay, that's not going to get confusing at all. So Max Bell, they're helping out on the cam work. Very much appreciate them. Of course, they're working hard to try to get what audio they could. Had kind of a deal going on there. And Chris and them did a fantastic job. So we very much appreciate them. Thank you all, of course, for listening. If you listened, or if you're watching on Boomer TV, always glad to see you guys supporting the Boomers. And hope that continues as they move along here in the season. Well, for Dakota Wagner, for myself, Tyler Riggs, everybody have a safe trip back. If you had somebody at the game, make sure they get back safe. And if you're tuned in and listen, watch from home, have a good rest of your weekend, and we will catch you next week. You've been listening to Boomer Football on Z92.